Hello and welcome back to Attacking Third, a CBS Sports soccer podcast. I'm Sandra Herrera, lead NWSL writer for CBS Sports. Joined today, as always, by Lisa Roman, my colleague and co-host, NWSL analyst and broadcaster. On today's episode, we've got a special interview portion with New York, Gotham FC midfielder McCall Zerboni. A quick reminder before we get into everything, though, to follow us on Twitter at Attacking Third. You can also head on over to our YouTube page and hit subscribe to youtube.com/attacking third. Welcome back to the show, McCall.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. We got some stuff to talk about, so let's rumble.
Yo, I'm hyped. I was so excited to get you back onto the show in light of everything that has been transpiring ahead of the preseason and now officially into the preseason. Congratulations are in order for a number of reasons: for a start of another preseason for you, for a start of a newly ratified CBA. But last time you joined us, it actually was ahead of the 2021 NWSL playoffs. And now you're joining us with having a couple days of preseason in so far with Gotham FC. So let's just sort of maybe start there. How's it feeling sort of getting back in the rough and tumble with the squad?
Yeah, it was pretty beautiful. I had this moment, my first training session, when I turned up, and I just took a deep breath when I walked into our facility, and I was just like, wow, the amount of gains this club has made in the past 2 years since I joined it. I am just so grateful and astounded by everything: the level of professionalism, the level of better players, the level of play, level of resources. Our ownership has done an amazing job to bring more sauce and more resources. Our coaches and our technical staff and our medical staff, I mean, everything is just top of the line, premier elite status now. And it really is a breath of fresh air and an amazing feeling when you walk into club and feel like you're part of something amazing and great.
You have that feeling, that deep breath with your club, and hopefully across the league, the players have it, because just the night before the NWSL players were to report to preseason on February 1st, the Players Association and the NWSL ratified its first ever CBA. What a historic moment for the league, for women's soccer, for you being part of that process. So tell us, what was your involvement in the CBA process with the Players Association?
Yeah, I guess the way I could describe it is the most exhausting and exhilarating achievement I've ever had in my career. I was so tired at the end of it, but at the same time, I was just so inspired. I have never had more Zoom calls and more calls and my phone on loud during nights and mornings. And I have never spent so much unpaid time on something in my life. But I really do feel it was necessary for those among us and my peers in the future to come. And yeah, once we signed on that dotted line, it was just like, okay, we made history and it was all worth it.
You know, we've been celebrating here at Attacking Third since
the
CBA was dropped and announced. I mean, it's like we wanted to chat to as many people as we could and really just sort of give the amount of time that we felt necessary to sort of celebrate this. And I mean, it's coming off of the year that we all sort of collectively kind of had to go through. It was tough, you know, in a multitude of ways for players who had to go through that and play through that, for some of us in the media side who had to try to cover that. And we don't often maybe feel like we get the dubs, right? So we want to try to like celebrate them when we can. So we've had a number of players that we've been chatting with. We even had former players like Laura Lindsay and Yael joined us to talk about this historic moment. And for someone like yourself, you know, you've been with NWSL just specifically since its beginning. And when this historic CBA finally came into play, what were some certain aspects of it specifically that you felt most passionately about?
Yeah, there's a lot of legal smorgasbords that I won't bore you with, and that actually I've all really learned all that language, and that in this past year I have grown so much and learned so much, which has been really fantastic for me. But I think our heavy hitters and our main points were free agency, minimum and maximum salary, and revenue share, broadcasting, and you know, just those 4 or 5 main points that really increase the total pie for the player pool. So we began way back in negotiations over a year ago. We came up with this concept as the pie, and the pie being, okay, some people love the crust, some people love the filling, some people love the sugar, but we want to increase the total pie as large and as maximum as we can to make the majority of the player pool happy. And so, some people really valued free agency, some people really valued minimum salary, some people valued this, that, right? So for us, it was just really trying to hit that ceiling to make the pie as most delicious and flourishing, as nutritious as possible. And so there were times that we were offered more filling to give up the crust, and there was times that we were offered more crust to give up the sugar. And we just were like, those are our heavy spots. We just can't. And we had to really buckle down, bite our teeth in, and say, look, if we've got to do the heavy and hard thing, the word that starts with an S, as we all know, if we have to do that in order to get the full amount of what we think is going to make this pie most delicious, then we're willing to do it. But we grit our teeth in and I was panicking. There were times where I was just like, this is going to be hard. And I don't know if I'm ready, but I've got to encourage all my player pool to be ready for this, because it's really our only power. But at the end of the day, we definitely bargained together at the round table. And I'm very grateful for the NWSL meeting us where we needed to be, and we got it done.
You got more of the pie in the end of it all, right? And
yes.
It's the start of the 10th season in the NWSL, and you've begun training with Gotham, knowing that there is a CBA in place, knowing that you have the part of the pie that you want. Does that player rights and salary minimums and maximums and free agency, how does that change your mindset and the player's mindset as you started preseason this past week?
Yeah, I think for me specifically, I don't know if I'll reap a lot of those benefits. It's just not, later on in my career. But I've noticed a major shift in people's mentality and emotional commitment, and just a weight lift off their shoulders, knowing that they're protected and empowered. And also they feel that they have the general resources they need to be the best pro that they can be. And I'm really excited to see these next generations just really flourish off those main basic needs being met that we've been missing in our game for so long.
Looking ahead to this 2022 season, it's going to be a little bit different in that there's now going to be 12 teams, right, instead of 10 ahead of the season. And when we're looking at the structure, it's similar in terms of, the amount of games. There's still going to be the open playoffs with the 6 spots. How is that sort of, maybe in your opinion, kind of reshaping the outlook in preseason, where there's going to be 2 more teams added to the mix competing for these playoff spots down the stretch?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the 2 things that come to mind for me are the number of roster spots available for players. So we're essentially creating more jobs, which really encourages me for those next generations to come, and those kids come out of college or people coming from overseas. There's more opportunity to play in the NWSL. So that's encouraging. And then we're also giving more to the fans. There's more markets and more communities that have the opportunity to go to pro games and watch these females and watch these elite athletes. And so I think the more we can show off and provide and give what our talents are to other parts of the country, and also provide other job opportunities for other people who this is their dream, those are the 2 most fantastic points for me.
McCall, it's so fun chatting with you because you're so professional, but you're still so knowledgeable about this. And I can tell that you do have so much passion about this and the game, honestly. I mean, looking past the CBA a little bit, because you still get to play the game, right? You still get to compete and have your teammates that are surrounding you day in and day out. So for Gotham specifically, a bunch of off-season changes, right? They added a few players in there, most notably like goalkeeper Ashlyn Harris, goalkeeper Michelle Betos, defender Ali Krieger, midfielder Kristie Mewis. Like, these are big names that fans around the league and around the world know. So when you look at these players coming into the first week of preseason, how have they been adjusting? Like, it's a bit colder than it is in Houston and Orlando, or they were before. But really, what's really the mindset adding new players into the squad?
Well, I think it's a big ode and tribute to my existing players and the culture that they've created here that has now been a desirable place to come play. And, there's only positive rumblings with Gotham around the league. And so when you see big names wanting to come play here, I just feel very grateful and fortunate. And I just really want to thank my teammates for that, because they have created this, desirable thing that we have here now. And then when those players come in, they love where they are, and we love them, and we love that their talents and how they're going to enhance us and make us better. And we're looking at each other like, you're cool, I'm cool, let's be even cooler together, kind of thing, So we just kind of get really inspired, and our future looks bright for sure.
I love that. You're cool. I'm cool. Let's be cool together. I'm into that. Let's take a look at the coaching picture for you all. One of the things that also happened for Gotham last year was a bit of a coaching shift, right, in terms of sort of mid to late season. So now this year, ahead of 2022, you got Scott Parkinson for the entire year versus sort of coming in, being injected into sort of mid late season there alongside the coaching staff with Yanez and Tweed. So what are the benefits, right, of sort of having this mutual start, all together, starting with preseason?
Yeah, Scott is incredibly brilliant. And I don't necessarily only mean that in his brain. I mean that in the way he conducts himself, how he cares, how he sees everything, how he invests. He is just an all around brilliant coach. And it's really what Gotham needed at the time when we had a lot going on and we just wanted to we needed a knight in shining armor just to kind of come in and save us and say, I'm here for you. I understand. And, feel safe and protected under me, but I'm also going to make you better and I'm going to push you and I'm knowledgeable. I think that was exactly what we needed at the right time. And I know that he wanted to have more time with us and he was a little bit frustrated because he's like, I'm just starting to get in the stroke of things and the season is ending. And so I know he's chomping at the bit right now to have his hands on us for the whole year. And his passion is just leaking through and, has a great technical staff around him with Bev and with Tweeds and, even our sports scientists and everyone like that, Philip and our new trainers coming in. So we're really on the rise here and we have really, really good tools in our arsenal. So I'm really excited for everyone to come see and watch.
The club overall on the rise. Like you said, it's really a desirable place. So many goals for the club, I'm sure. Get back to the playoffs, win an NWSL championship. I mean, there's so many tangible things that you can say, this is what we want to do as a club. But for you, McCall, personally, when you look at the season of 2022 and you look at your game and your career trajectory and all you already have accomplished, what are some personal goals that you are setting for yourself heading into this season?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I think for me, number one, stay healthy, stay on the field. Number two, be the best leader I can. I want to make everyone around me a better player. If I'm failing to do that, then I feel like I'm failing my team, I'm failing myself, and I'm failing the league. I just want to make everyone a better player around me. And I'm a winner. I love to make it to the playoffs. So there's only been 3 years out of my 5,000 that I haven't made it to the playoffs. So I've got to be in the playoffs. There's nothing less that they'll fail from. So.
I have to ask you, you say you want to be a good leader. Are there any leaders that you've had throughout your career that you try to resemble parts of their leadership strategy, or what is your leadership strategy?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say any specific names, but I do want to mention that everyone that is around you has qualities in them that you can take from. So whether they're older, younger, or first year or whatever, I think people who inspire you are leaders, and my teammates, no matter their age and stage in life, they always inspire me, and I'm always taking things from people. And so I really appreciate everything that I can take from around me. Yeah.
McCall, you've mentioned that you're in a certain phase of your career right now. And then when you're in preseason, you're always getting used to maybe the teammates that were battling with you in the prior season, but also some new faces. And maybe within that includes younger faces as well. And then maybe to close out, something that really resonated, I know, with so many of us when we were kind of, starting to receive the news about the new CBA, was this statement that the PA put out, sort of capping it off with a little bit of like a send off to players of the past, saying that you hope you made them proud. So for someone like you, sort of having this leadership role, right, within Gotham, within women's soccer in general, we hear so often about that, about leaving the game, right, better how you found it when you got here. So in terms of looking ahead to 2022 and this sort of new step in this new era, right, in women's soccer in America, what the work is never done, really, even with something as historic like this. So what is your advice to any of these younger players or new players who are coming up into this new era where something like a CBA does exist?
Yeah, I think the main thing that the CBA is going to change for these new eras and generations coming up is now they officially have everything they need and their basic needs met to go out there and thrive and be the best player that they can be. They don't have to get other jobs. They can put all their focus into this sport and becoming the most elite athlete that they possibly can. And for me, that is so gratifying and satisfying that I can't wait to see the level that is now reached, because this is their full-time job, their full-time support, their full-time thing. And I know once they invest in themselves, that this league will just flourish. And so I can't wait to see the confidence that grows and the level and the competition that grows as well. And the fans are going to really enjoy loving these youngsters and these people just growing and flourishing and blossoming. And that's what we do it for. We want to make the world and women's soccer world a better place. And it won't be in my lifetime, I don't think, but I get to watch the start of it for now. So that makes me happy.
I love that. We're going to end off on that. Man, that makes me happy too. I'm excited for us to cover it, right? And see everything that comes in light of everything that's now started kicking off in this new beginning. I want to thank you for joining us. As always, McCall, we always like to thank our listeners for joining us as well. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Good luck in the 2022 season. Once again, everybody, you can follow us on Twitter at Attacking Third. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you're listening to your shows. You can leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you leave us a question on Apple Podcasts with a 5-star review, we'll answer it during our mailbag segment. We're available as video. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Visit youtube.com/Attacking Third. And we'll be back on Wednesday with more team previews for everyone. For Sandra, Herrera, Lisa Roman, and McCall Zerboni, this was Attacking Third.